Yeah. Make sure you edit this. I better not look on YouTube and see this on there. All right, let me open my phone back up and we'll get going again. All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fourth and Family, the place where family comes first and every conversation counts, and we're going for it every time. So let's get into it. First off, I want to say my name is MEC. I am one of the hosts. We got Marquell, we got JR, and then we got DJ. And so we are here tonight to just kind of give a little insight and have a little fun as we talk sports. And so I know we're going to start off with our icebreaker like we always do, just to have a little fun and break up the monotony. So, all right. So Quail got the icebreaker for tonight.
All right. So I just have one question. Repeat it 10 times.
One question, repeat it 10 times.
Yes. Can you name the last quarterback for this team to start a Super Bowl? All right. So first up, we have the Dolphins.
Dan
Marino.
That's easy.
Very, very easy. How about the Jets?
Joe Namath.
Joe Namath.
Another easy one.
Yeah.
All right. How about the Ravens?
The who?
Ravens.
The Ravens? Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Sure wasn't Lamar Jackson.
Sure wasn't. How about the Lions?
The Lions? Matt Stafford.
Never.
No, they've never been to the Super Bowl.
Lions never been to the Super Bowl.
They have not.
They have not? What?
They have not.
The Bears.
Really?
Rex Grossman.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Yes, Rex Grossman.
You know what? When I was coming up with it, I was like, oh, obviously Jay. But no, that was right before him. I was like,
It's my color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they did not get there with Jay.
No, they didn't. The Steelers.
Oh, that's easy.
Big Ben.
Yeah. Fortunate. Falcons.
Matty Ice.
Ryan, yeah.
Which I don't know about the ice part. It was more of an ice that didn't come out in the second half.
But they came out in the third quarter. They didn't come out in the fourth quarter.
Come out in the fourth. The Broncos.
Ooh.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
Peyton. How about the Cowboys?
Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now this one, you're gonna have to really dig deep.
Okay.
Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings. It was
Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah.
There you go.
Man, it's been that long ago. Goodness gracious.
Fran Tarkenton.
You know what? And I'm gonna be honest, I knew that, but I think I just heard about it. If I didn't hear it recently, I would never known that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only time they've ever been to it, ain't it?
No.
How many times have they gone? Like twice?
We went 4 times.
Ah.
Times in the 70s.
Gotcha. Okay. Before my time. Gotcha.
Don't you remember that?
A little bit. I remember some of it. Actually, I was alive during all of the 70s. So, yeah, I was born in 69. So, the 70s are a part of my life. All right.
The 70s are his 90s. I got it.
Yes.
For us.
That's the last one, son?
It is.
All right. So, a little trivia. That was fun. All right. First down. Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
February the 8th. I had to look at the calendar. February the 8th, 2026. Santa, what is it? Santa Clara. Santa Clara, California. home of the
California.
49ers. Super Bowl 60. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
that's
I know
crazy.
Think
I've
about all the
been
great Super Bowls that you had before this.
man, I've been watching the Super Bowl, and I promise you ain't about the Bears, but at least since the Bears were in 20, so I've been watching the Super Bowl since at least like Super Bowl 15. Wow. I'm old.
45 years of Super Bowls.
Man. Wow.
Man, wow.
All right. So this one, Super Bowl 60. Seahawks, Patriots. What's your take?
What we got,
Chuck.
fellas?
Well, don't everybody talking once. I'm
Right.
picking. I'm not picking any. I'm not a fan of any, but I'm not a hater of any. So
You
if
know what?
I'm gonna
I,
stay
I
true
was
to my. Hold on, I'm gonna stay
your
true to
neutral.
my NFC-ness. So I'm gonna ride with the NFC. So I'm going Seahawks just because they in the NFC. I like to see us stay at home.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
gonna walk back. Wait, keep going. Okay, I'll go. I'll walk back my comments during the divisional round because I said that I didn't believe in Sam Darnold,
Mm-hmm.
and in 2 games, I mean, he hasn't. eh, They won in convincing fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and some of it's part of the defense and other things, but I mean, it's Sam. Sam is slinging the ball around, and I I'm picking the Seahawks because I mean, when you on a heater, you on a heater,
Mm-hmm.
and it don't slow down.
Okay.
And
Okay. So we got two Seahawks. Two Seahawks. Two Seahawks. Score. You got a score, Quail?
Well,
Ooh,
let's do the scores all at the end then.
yeah.
Okay. So what you got, Jane?
Um, so I'm not one of those guys who say you can't bet against the Patriots and Robert Kraft and blah blah blah. I don't. I think that's crap. But I do genuinely think that Mike Vrabel is a special coach. Like I think what he did with this team, and the investment that they put into that group this year. And then you also think about, how Drake May is playing. Um, that defense is playing lights out. Um, so it actually is really hard for me to pick against them.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I still think I would rather see Seattle win. As much as I don't really want either one of them to win, I would rather see Seattle win.
You know somebody got to.
I know. I don't want to see either one of them do it. But making a pick, I would say I would go with Seattle. And primarily because I'm a fan. I'm also a big fan of like the redemption stories and the comeback stories. And I think the Sam Darnold story is special. Um, People pretty much gave up and had moved on and were ready to like make him a bust.
Yeah.
And you don't take a quarterback number 3, and as highly as they talked about him coming out of that draft, like he had something. I mean, no scout, no pro, nobody who's been doing that any type of time said that Sam Darnold was a bust. Coming out of college, they were like, he's the real deal. Uh, and now he just needed a little bit longer and a better situation to show it. But the other thing too, his situation made me think about David Carr in Houston. David Carr was a stud. Like David Carr just got beat down so much in Houston that he physically couldn't do it anymore. But if David Carr had gone to a different situation, he could have been, a Sam Darnold situation. And that really made me think about Sam Darnold's story is like, he was able to overcome a bad first situation, went to Minnesota. I mean, they won how many, 14 games that year? And then for them to say, oh, thanks, but we're going to go take this young kid from Michigan over you and ride him and it's not like Darnold's an old quarterback. Like, come on, he's in his mid-20s. So Seattle might have their next generational quarterback. And if he wins the Super Bowl, I think that's probably one of the best redemption stories you can put in any type of movie script. So I'm going
Gotcha.
Seattle.
All right.
Well, you know, it's nice that everyone with analytics and stuff like that. I'm gonna be based upon my team. At the end of the day, I don't want them to have more than us. So I'm gonna say the Seattle to win because we don't want New England to have more rings than what Pittsburgh has. But
Agreed.
if you look at everything, yes, I'm gonna lean towards Seattle as well. Uh, besides the whole Super Bowl thing, but yep, that's my take on it. Yep, I don't want them to have more than what we got. I'm stingy about that. We was the first 16 win.
So, okay, let me ask you this though. Is that a decision or a idea or a decision you're making based purely on not wanting them to get those? Or do you really think that Seattle's a better team?
Well, no, I think Seattle's a better team. Yes, but then diehard Steeler fan, I don't want them to have more than what we got.
You know what though? I will say this. I'm picking Seattle, but I'm not gonna be surprised at all if New England win the Super Bowl.
Oh no, because
Like,
Vrabel's a decent little coach. I like
he's
his coaching style. I like that pickup for New England coming from Tennessee, letting him go and immediately going back to New England. Yeah,
yeah,
no, can't be mad at that move at all.
yeah.
Mm.
And I think he's got the quarterback he needs to do it too. Like
Mhm.
Drake is the guy. He is definitely gonna be a next 10, 15-year quarterback. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hmm. Well, what about you guys? What do you guys think about that? The Denver game, how Denver seemed to be controlling the game, and then I don't know if the snow affected them or was it New England's defense because that defense looked pretty stout. They looked kind of shaky at first, but
so
toward the after halftime, they looked like a different team, and so that defense. And I have not really got a chance to see a lot of New England football. So I really don't want to say too much about them, but I know I watched that second half. And that second half, they played like lights out. But I don't know if that was because of the weather. I don't know. We know that a lot of plays at the beginning of the game are scripted and they're new. And his quarterback was fresh off the bench, so it looked beautiful and it was working. But then we ran out of we now we running the same thing 2 or 3 times, and so I don't know. Was it more Denver running out of ammunition, or did New England finally uh, wake up and start to produce? Which one do you guys think it was?
I have a huge thought about that, so I'm gonna give it to somebody else if they got something before that.
Yeah. I'm going to defer to you because I really didn't watch that game.
Got you.
Uh,
So
I think it's a combination of both because you got to remember that these are the top two teams in the AFC all year, and really could have flipped who was the number one going into the last week of the season. But so like they both have really good defenses throughout the season, and then I mean, like you said, you get into a situation where the starting quarterback hasn't played in 2 years. In the AFC Championship game, you're going to run stuff that you know he can get his confidence up, and it's going to be the same thing because he hasn't played in 2 years.
Mm,
And so I think it's the combination of the defense is settled in because it's a brand new quarterback. Again, hasn't played in 2 years. Not a lot of game tape on him.
mhm,
Um, and so they finally settled in, and you can't run things for Bo Nix that you can, or you can't run things for Jared Stidham like you would run for Bo Nix.
mhm. You're right. Okay. All
yeah.
right, James.
So
I mean, Jr.
so So, so the first part of the question, I think it was primarily the weather that determined the outcome of that game, and this is why. So, my wife and I went to the game when Denver played Kansas City at that stadium, and we sat at the like very top. And the way that that stadium is set up is like Denver itself is like built in the mountain. So when you look around outside of it, you're literally looking at mountain ranges around the stadium. And then of course the elevation part of it. So and that's a reality. Like when we got off the plane in Denver, I literally felt like, oh man, it's a little I'm working a little bit harder to breathe. It wasn't like detrimental, but it was like if I was running like I had to run in a football game, I would feel it.
Mhm.
And so the other thing that we noticed is that the way that the wind swirls when it really starts blowing in there. And like you can feel it because at the top, like when it would blow, it was hot. And when we went, but it wasn't hot, but it started cool and then it warmed up throughout the day. But anyway, early on, when it was cooler and we had on like hoodies and stuff like that, the wind was blowing and you would see how it was swirling. We can
Or
figure
Lutz.
Lutz, yes. So Lutz had kicked a field goal and he nailed it like center. It started like this right down the middle and then it went like at the last minute. And so we didn't know anything. Like this is our first time at that stadium. And the guy that was there was like, yeah, every game, he was like, hey, that's what the wind does here. That's what the wind does here. So then when we watched the game, I started thinking as the weather started getting worse, and then you watch how the wind is whipping, I'm like, if it was like that on a 67-degree day when, you didn't have snow falling all over the place, what is about to happen in this place? Because we also got to remember, it went from the middle of the third quarter where it was green grass, nothing
Mhm.
like that, and then all of a sudden in a half of a quarter to the end of the game was only like 25 minutes.
Mhm.
So it went from that to like a winter wonderland out there.
Mhm.
And the temperature dropped. Like I was looking at it and it dropped like 10 to 12 degrees in that short amount of time. And then you started watching how the wind was whirling. And then in the broadcast, they were showing a chick that did the interview and she was talking about how the wind was blowing in one direction versus how it was blowing in the opposite direction. And then you saw how Denver Lutz missed that kick and he did the same thing. It started right down the middle of the pipe and then just went and so I feel like the weather played a big role because it was 13-10, so, New England had scored, it was 13-10, but Denver had multiple opportunities to come and do things with that game. The defense played great on both sides of the ball. I mean, we can't just talk about New England's defense and ignore that Denver's defense also shut them out for that period. It wasn't like New England did anything differently. They couldn't
Mhm.
score, Drake May couldn't move the ball, like, it was the same thing. And I just felt like they were products of the weather because I think if the weather had not changed like that, I don't
Mhm.
think I wouldn't say that like, oh, Denver would have won the game, but I think the outcome would not have been it wouldn't have looked the same. And
Gotcha.
like we can't take away how the weather plays a role in any game, but just also how that stadium is set up. It just
Gotcha.
I connect. I literally was reliving the game we were there as I watched it. Like, yeah, yeah, it's more to it than this.
Okay. All right. So, Super Bowl predictions. I'll go first. Seattle 35. New England 31. It's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a good game. 35-31 Seattle.
Well,
Um, I agree. It will be a high scoring game, probably in the 30s. I think I'll say 37-30 for the Seahawks.
I think I'm gonna change mine 38-31. 38. 38 stuck out. It just popped in my head, not 35-38. I
You
want
know
30.
what? I feel you on the 8 part. I don't know about 30. I think because both of them are primarily defensive-minded teams, I don't think it's gonna reach the 30s. I think it's gonna get close. That's why I'm saying it's probably gonna go 28-24 Seahawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you looking at a mini shootout. Me and Quell looking at a full-fledged shootout.
So this is my thing. This is essentially a Super Bowl between two guys that have never done it before. And that's where I'm looking at. You know, the NFL at the end of the day is all about the quarterbacks. And so do I think that like Drake May and Darnold are going to shrink in the moment? No. But I do think they're going to have some jitters that they got to shake off. Um, I think both of them have two really good run games, which when you are in a run game, you typically don't get a lot of high scoring situations. It's a ground game, ground and pound. You know, you're trying to get yards, slow the game down a little bit. And the fact that we are looking at two of the best defenses in the league. So I actually think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm more probably closer to what DJ is saying. But I'm going to go with one of those 24-21 games. Seattle 24-21.
Okay. All right. Well, the Coopers are looking for a shootout. And we're gonna get it. All
It
right.
will be fun to see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think what everybody said makes sense, but I think they're gonna open it up. Look, it's the Super Bowl. We ain't got nothing to lose. Let's go for it. And I think they just gonna get out there and it's gonna be a good game. I really do.
Yeah.
A real good game.
A real good game. All
Looking
right.
forward to the game and the commercials.
Second. All right. So Super Bowl prediction is done. We're gonna move on to second down. Second down, we're gonna talk about the coaching. Coaching carousel is complete. I think if they're not finalized, they are in the making of being finalized. So Arizona got their coach. Atlanta has their coach. Baltimore has their coach. Buffalo, Cleveland, Oakland, LA, Las Vegas, whichever one you want to call it, they got their coach. Miami, the Giants, and Tennessee. All right, but the one that we want to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We ain't gonna even talk about it long, but we can't act like it didn't happen. Mike,
We're gonna touch on it for a brief second, but
brief second.
yeah. They
I
picked up
was
Mike.
I
Mike
was
McCarthy.
totally confused why the Pittsburgh and I say this not because I think Mike McCarthy is a bad coach. It just didn't make sense to me. So still a guy.
I don't think it
Don't
made
it
sense
make
to anybody. I
no,
think
but make
everyone
sense.
just left sitting there scratching their head like,
Yeah,
we picked up who? Why
yeah.
we do that?
But what y'all got? Still the people? What's still a nation saying?
It's a terrible move.
Mhm.
I
Questioning
mean,
that decision.
I mean, it'll get touched more on, during the fourth down. But for me, it kind of showed how maybe Mike Tomlin, or not maybe, it definitely showed that Mike Tomlin stepped down because he wanted to.
Mhm.
Um, Two, it showed that maybe some of the different coaching hires over his tenure weren't because he wanted to hire them, and it was more on ownership, either not wanting to spend or just controlling uh, who came in. Um, and then there was another one, but I don't like it. I don't
Yeah.
like
I think
it.
a lot of Steeler Nation is probably thinking the same thing.
Mhm.
It's a big question in there, like why did we pick him up out of all the people we could have picked up? We had what's a boy name from Kansas City, that's a potential head coach. You know, you had all these other options, and it's like, okay, but we settled on this option. It's like, I like it, but it's not really what I wanted type. It's like going out for fast food. I like Taco Bell, but it's not really what I want. Nobody really settles on Taco Bell.
Hmm.
No dig on Taco Bell. Just, by the way, she love Taco Bell, but yeah.
We love Taco Bell. Please be our sponsor.
Yeah, I can't lie. I'm glad y'all enjoying.
So, but I mean, hey, there's some other decent little pickups like Tennessee picking up Robert Saleh. I like him coming back, getting another chance at head coach.
Do you
I do.
do
I
you
really
really
do.
like that?
I do. For Tennessee, I do. I mean, I think he's going to struggle just because they're still missing some pieces. So it's going to be interesting to see who they pick up in the offseason to kind of fill some of those voids in their lineup. But I mean, I do like that pickup.
Gotcha.
Anyone else got a team that they're kind of interested in their coaching decision that they chose? I mean, because granted, it all started off with one of them hardballs, whichever one,
John.
John.
going to the Giants. That kind of, I guess, was the domino that everyone wanted to see where it fell first before they made their decision on what coach they was gonna go with.
Yeah.
One that kind of surprised me was the Bills promoting Joe Brady.
Hmm.
And
Why
it
did
surprised me because the offense has struggled a bit in Buffalo, and then so they fire Sean McDermott because he lost the game against Denver, which is what the owner said. And then they promote Joe Brady after interviewing Philip Rivers. Completely ridiculous.
That was
But
left field.
Hmm.
but then to promote Joe Brady, who is again running this offense that did not do enough, and you can say that it was partly on the defense because the defense should have, yeah, but offense also has to be better as well, and
Yeah.
and a lot of it was on Josh, not necessarily offense as a whole, but still.
Okay.
Mm, mm.
All right. Is that it? Coaching carousel done?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to add. I think the Pittsburgh fellas really talked pretty well about it. It's
Can I say one more thing?
yeah.
I think that it was. Never mind. Never mind.
No, come
I
on.
won't say that. No,
Yeah,
I
no,
won't say that. I don't want to say that one.
you
I,
got to put it out there now.
oh,
Don't want no hate.
I thought it was soft. I thought it was really soft to go with Mike McCarthy because they went with a guy who pretty much has the same record as
Bruh.
John Harbaugh and Mike
Bruh.
Tom, who were just ousted by their clubs, and it's pretty much the same guy. You
Yeah.
could have went anybody younger
Right.
and done something.
Look.
I'm
That's
soft.
why we Steelers fans over here because our thought process is online. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Mhm.
I
So
think it
let me ask
was.
y'all this real quick then. Which one of these, if you're saying that was you say a soft, did you say a
Yeah,
soft, a safe,
I did.
kind of safe like?
No,
Nah,
not
What
soft.
safe.
I don't
say
want to
Soft.
say
soft?
yeah,
Which one of
not
these
safe.
hires is other than that one, would you say, and you said Joe Brady, who else on here is just like, you know, where we question ownership of this team for these coaches?
I don't think really any of them. I think Robert Saleh is he's probably one of those guys that like is an extremely great football mind,
Mhm.
but it takes a lot to be a head coach in any sport, and it's a very different position. Like as much as I think that the Buffalo Bill owner was kind of blowing smoke and talking out his left ear, but when he said that they were looking for a CEO because that's what the head coach has to be. That is the case. Like, you can be a great coordinator and not be a great coach. And Robert Saleh proved it this year. Like, he was a great as I mean, what he did with the 49ers, I'm like, man, he's a great coach. He's a great coordinator. But I think what he showed in New York is he doesn't always make the choices or the decisions that are going to be in the best interest of winning, not because he's a bad coach, but because sometimes as a CEO, you have to make unpopular decisions. And he's one of those guys, sometimes as a coordinator, you build relationships with your players because you're with them day to day. You're with them in the fire. You're with them in practice, individual meetings, all that stuff. A lot of times, a lot more intimately than you are with your head coach. And so you are able to build those relationships. It's just like, as a basketball coach, I always wanted to build strong staffs because I know it's a challenge for a head coach to be able to do both. Because sometimes you got to make a call that might not be popular, but it's in the best interest of the team. But it always is helpful when you've got those coaches that can be there to be those buffers and to be able to have those relationships. It's an ecosystem. But not every piece of the ecosystem works best in other roles. Like, God didn't create everybody to do everything. So that's the reason why I felt like Robert Saleh was kind of a interesting hire, but I don't think he's a bad one. I mean, they gave him a quarterback. They feel like Cam Ward can really be that guy. So he didn't have that in New York. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
It's funny you said that because he had Sam Donald in New York.
Right. And
And then Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, that didn't mean nothing.
Yeah,
No,
you
no,
could
that's
kill.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
All right. So if we're gonna move on because we gonna time restraint, let's move down to third down. NBA deadline Thursday, February 5th. We got some big names this floating around the trade circle. We got Giannis, we got Ja, we got Zion, and we got LaMelo. Just a few names that's been thrown out there. Who wants to talk about Giannis? What do y'all think about Giannis moving from Milwaukee?
You want to start this one off, Coyle?
You can go first.
I think it's about time. I really think he should have left last year. I think that dumb move they made by signing Miles Turner showed why he should have left. Like, come on, man. And we're here in Pacerland, and you know, people here in Indianapolis did not. I won't say they didn't care for Miles Turner, but they didn't think after a while that he was like a key piece to extremely competitive team. So then when they went to the finals last year, I feel like Miles got to this point where he was like, I proved y'all wrong. And so when the Bucks came with this offer that the Pacers were pretty much like, yeah, but we still kind of think the same way about you. Like, you're important to us, but you're not the most important piece. So here's an offer. It's a good one. Take it. And then let's do this again. He was like, nah, they come in with that money. But what Milwaukee gave up to do it was just ridiculous to me. Like, you make a move like that for a guy that's going to help you go win a championship. If you think that just because Miles Turner just got done playing in the championship that he was the missing piece, yeah, no, that's not who he is. He's an important piece that can definitely play a great big role, but he's not the guy you go sign to pair up with your superstar and be like, these two together are going to be no, that's not Miles Turner. And now they're seeing that. He's a good center in NBA, but I mean, Joel Embiid's been eating Miles Turner up for about 6 years. So like, every time the Pacers played Philly, we knew, oh, Joel Embiid might go and get 30 and 15 tonight, and he typically did. So, yeah, that's why I think it's time. But I do love Giannis, and I think he's got that old school mentality where it's like any team that's trying to really go win a chip need to go get Giannis. give everything you can and keep as much as you can to win to go get Giannis. I really hope the Bulls do everything they possibly can to go get Giannis. Like that's what I want to see.
Well, I will say this from what the the scuttlebutt is right now is that the Timberwolves is pushing hard to try to get Giannis. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah. Golden
It
State
will.
really wants him too, though.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, it's a couple teams, but like I said, let me look at it. So it's saying the Heat, Minnesota, Golden State, the Knicks are among the active teams try to trade for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how much teams gonna be willing to give up for him to kind of see what kind of you know value they think of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because James, you made an interesting statement or phrase that we use a lot. And I wrote it down when you said the missing piece. Are these players at this stage in their careers? And I say that about Giannis, and he's probably the oldest of this group that we're talking about. But at this stage, are they that missing piece for if we're gonna take Giannis and let's take these teams out? What's one team or two teams that you can say plug and that's a championship team for Giannis? Let's
Um,
just name teams. Let's not go deep into it. Giannis, where we gonna plug him?
The Knicks, the
yeah.
Heat.
The Heat are that team. The Heat are definitely one of those teams, but I don't think the way the Heat are constructed at what you'd have to give up to get Giannis, they're not gonna
Hmm.
be the same team. It's just like him going back to Milwaukee, basically.
All
Um,
right.
I think the team that has enough assets where they could keep the core that would be together to be a championship team, and they're in that division is Detroit. Detroit has enough assets where they could give Milwaukee everything they could want for the future and still be able to hang on to those. If they keep Cade and the big and plug Giannis in and they're able to somehow keep Asher Thompson and then, maybe you give up like a Jaden Ivey or I can't think of the other guard's name. Um, but Detroit, yeah, Detroit's a Giannis away from the championship. They're they're in contention right now. So you add him to a team with the best record in the East, and there's your Eastern Conference champs right there.
All right. What about Ja? Is he still that guy? Is Ja still that guy? I think I froze up real bad right then.
He
I
did.
believe he is, but I think just by his off the field, off the court antics, like what team will want to deal with all of the baggage that comes with him as well? I mean, you look at it as far as like the NBA, the NBA and the NFL comparison. You look at Antonio Brown, decent player, a lot of baggage that come with it. I almost can try to see Ja as that same comparison as far as everything that's going on with him with all of the legal issues that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think now teams don't in really in any sport, teams don't have to settle for those players anymore. You used to could I'm trying to think of somebody, and I love T.O., so I'm gonna use him as an example, but not really in a negative way. But you had to kind of tolerate the antics for the success. But now a lot of teams they don't have to settle because there's so much talent out there and there's so much good coaching out there that I can win with a sub. I don't really say subpar, but you know what I'm saying? I don't need if you got so much baggage, I'd rather I'd rather just keep going with what I got as opposed to taking on that baggage for the sake of winning. So I think uh I think Ja's gonna fall into that category where he wants to move and the suitors are just not knocking the doors down like they probably would have been when he was Ja when he first came in. So that's gonna be interesting. And I
And
would even say the same. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you finish your thought.
And now I was gonna move on to I would even say the same about Zion. I mean, we talk about
Yeah.
Zion just because he's Zion, but Zion hasn't done anything since he's been in the league.
No.
So
Right.
nobody's gonna be knocking down his door because I mean we scared he gonna fall down coming through the door. So yeah, I think those two for different reasons, they're in the same group. They're at the same, came out at the same time, they're on the same spectrum, but I don't see I don't see them when they move, kind of like you said, being that missing piece where now the fan base will be like, now we're ready to go, like they would be with Giannis. So that's gonna be interesting to see. I don't think they're gonna move. I think
I
they're gonna
agree.
stay.
Yeah.
So I think
Quell,
they're gonna stay.
I wanted to give Quell, because I think you were saying something. I wanted to give you a chance to say before I said something.
So go back to Ja, and outside of the off the court stuff, even on the court, Memphis is showing that they don't need him, and he doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want to be part of just the system. He wants to be the system. So that's another reason why he's not moving during the season, because like he's not going to be the system anywhere that he could go, because he's going to be added somewhere. And he doesn't want that in Memphis. And that's the way that they've moved um, the final games of last year and this year, um, and led to him getting suspended this year because he got in the fight with the coach uh, after the game because he didn't want to go back in because he wasn't touching the ball enough, or he wasn't getting enough shots, and the ball wasn't in his hand enough. And so for Ja, his problem is going to be acclimating to whatever system that he goes to. And then Zion, I mean, you mentioned it, missing all of these games, you just can't do that. You just can't pay that kind of money to somebody to not show up. I mean, you can't.
Right, with so much uncertainty for sure.
Yeah.
James, what was you gonna say?
So my response has some trivia to it. With the Ja Morant part,
Yep.
Quell, what you were talking about. Can anybody tell me an NBA team that has won a championship with a player that is the way you described Ja Morant? One. Just name one NBA team that has won an NBA championship with a guy like that.
Well, the guy like what?
Like what we're describing Ja Morant as far as wanting to be the system and it all revolve around him.
When they moved him, you mean?
No,
No.
a team that's won a championship with a guy like that at the head of it.
Maybe I don't understand the question.
Maybe
Well,
the Lakers.
And I kind of thought you might say that with Kobe, but I got a rebuttal to that.
Mhm.
Okay, well, what you get?
So there has not been a team in NBA history that has won a championship with a ball dominant alpha. I've got to be the man, and this team has to run through me. Never in the history of the league. Every NBA champion, even with guys that even came in the league like that, that guy had to adjust his game. Michael Jordan didn't begin to win championships until he recognized I need to operate within a system that has supporting casts that are good at what they do and can help me get to where I'm trying to go as a winner. Kobe was the same way. As Kobe came in the league and was like literally give me the ball and get out the way. And if you watch the documentary that Michael Jordan did at the All-Star game when he was talking about Kobe with them, he was like, that young kid out there, like, give me the ball and get out the way. And this is a guy who came in the league and was kind of the same way. Allen Iverson, there's a reason why he never won a championship. There's a reason why after that 1 year he had in Philly, he never sniffed the finals again. There's a reason why those type of guys don't win at a high level. They get a lot of stats, they get numbers, they make a lot of money, but they don't win at a high level consistently. And so if most GMs, most people that are building NBA teams, they're not looking for, yeah, they want the star power because that brings in revenue. And when you bring in revenue, you're going to make the owner happy for a little bit. But the best way to bring in revenue is to build a winner. That's how the game is built. That's how pretty much any pro sports team is or sports league is built. Winning is the greatest revenue generator you can possibly have. So when I look at basketball and I think about players like Ja Morant, if that really is his mentality, because sometimes their personas are not necessarily the reality. So if that really is his mentality, Ja's not going to impact winning. His performance right now is not impacting winning. He's just a part of a team that's building beyond him. And so it's tough for those type of guys to keep that mentality and go anywhere and impact winning. And teams that are looking for right now at the trade deadline, you're not looking for that superstar, necessarily. You're looking for a guy that's going to come in and help your team win. Ja, if he's willing to take the role, could be a big piece because the boy's super talented. But I just don't think if that is his mentality, he's going to impact winning at a high level. The Zion argument, I think, is super easy. Like, why? That would be the response for him. Is like, even this is one of his most or more healthy seasons, and he still missed half the games this year. So, like, it, it's it. I think he has the potential to be a bust only because of his availability, and your greatest benefit that you bring in the NBA is your availability. Your talent, everybody's talented in the NBA. Like everybody in the NBA was a McDonald's All-American or a leading scorer in college at a D1 school. Like that's what they do. Who sets themselves apart are those guys that can stay on the floor and impact the game. And Zion has not been able to do either one of them. Because even when he is putting up big numbers, he's still not impacting winning at a high level either. So,
And he's only 25. I thought he was older than that.
mm-mm. He came in the league when he was 19. He's been in the league 6 years. Like, he's played equivalent to 3.5 years in the NBA in 6 years. Like, yeah.
And at 13 and 93, 13 and 93, 13 and 39. Yeah, he's not very impactful at all.
No.
They're just a bad team. But the Pelicans weren't a good team when they picked him up.
That's how they had the number 1 pick to get him.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They haven't been and I don't want to. Where did the Pelicans come from?
The Pelicans was one of those newer teams that came in the league, right?
Yeah, they were. So when Charlotte moved to New Orleans, they were the New Orleans Hornets. And then when Charlotte bought that team and wanted the naming rights back, they gave it back to Charlotte, and then they became the Pelicans.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So technically,
They've been sucking for a while then.
Yeah, technically the Pelicans are the original Charlotte Hornets organization.
Gotcha. So they've been sucking a while.
Long time.
All right. Well, we're going to head into fourth down. Fourth down with our rant for this afternoon, this evening, this night of February the 2nd. We have Mr. DJ with his rant to close us out. And we're going to sit up and buckle up because here he go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and touch on the Pittsburgh Steelers hiring the head coach. I mean, like I said before, I feel like a lot of the Steelers fans are still scratching their head on the reasoning why they hired Mike McCarthy. I mean, if you look at a comparison to the track record of Mike Tomlin, what Mike Tomlin had, Mike Tomlin, yes, had a winning season the whole time he's been with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he only won one Super Bowl, and that was in 2006, the year after he came in. He only been to 2 Super Bowls early in his career. He has what? 5 of the last 10 playoff visits was one and done in the wild card round. Hasn't seen a championship since the AFC championship in 2016. So it's like you look at what he did in Pittsburgh. Yes, he did great. He was able to piece together a team with aging quarterbacks. But then you look at who they picked up with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy pretty much has the same track record. He's been in the league the same amount of times, pretty much has the same amount of wins as Tomlin. Probably only has 3 losing seasons with 1 Super Bowl. He's been in more Super Bowl appearances than Tomlin, but only has 1 Super Bowl and so forth. Now, I don't know about the rest of the fan bases. Yes, we like winning seasons, but we like Super Bowls more. So I'm kind of scratching my head on that pickup just because it's the exact same coach. In a nutshell, he has not done anything lately. He was set out a year after he got fired from the Cowboys in 2004, 24, set out in 25, and now the Pittsburgh Steelers pick him up for this year to try to change what? The question is now going forward, what's going to change? Because yes, he has familiarity with Aaron Rodgers. Are they going to try to bring him back for another year, or are we going to try to rebuild? So and going and like again, we're scratching our heads. So all right, so what's next with Pittsburgh? What's next? Are we going to try to push for some type of mediocrity season so that way we can barely make it to the playoffs and barely could win the wild card game, or are we going to sit down and actually make some changes, and so we can actually build our dynasty back up, so we can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers from the '70s, bring back the Steel Curtain. Our defense always has been good, but we are still missing pieces in the offense. Point one, quarterback. Who we gonna pick up? Like I said, he has familiarity with Rodgers. You have decent backup quarterbacks that's probably out there you can try to trade for to give them a shot. I'd rather go with that option than sticking with what doesn't work. I mean, don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers did get us to the playoffs, but again, we like to see wins. We like to see championships. We like those dubs. Again, we have 6 rings. The last one's no 6. We need something more in this decade. I want to tell my kids about the wins that we watched instead of the wins that I seen when I was in high school. That's what I'm looking for as a Steelers fan. So that's my rant. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. We want more. We want more championships in Pittsburgh. We were title town for a reason. We still want to be title town.
Okay. All right. All right. Title town. We want, what you say, 7?
7, 8, couple more. I wanna have that memory with my kids growing
That
up.
man said he want to take his kids to the parade.
That by the way they going, they might be taking you to the parade.
Oh, from Mustang.
Hey, James, you remember when the Cubs won the World Series, how they was showing all them old people,
Yeah,
recliners and stuff?
that's
And they
going.
was crying. He like, my dad, I was a kid when my dad took me to my first Cubs game. I get it. Yeah.
That's
And
gonna be all the Yinzers in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I'm almost to that point too. I'm like, my God,
Yeah.
are we ever gonna see the parade again in Chicago? Oh God.
I think we got a shot. I think we got a shot in the next few years, but we'll see.
Okay. All right.
We'll see. We'll see.
The older I get, the more I'm forgetting that I was in high school. You know, I still got a little vague memory of it when I think I was in 11th grade going to choir that next day. So yeah, but it's
I mean,
fake.
that's sad because I was in 11th grade when we won ours.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you look, that was in 86. You said y'all's was in 06.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the 26th season, and my daughter's going to be in the 11th grade. I think it's an alignment. I feel like it might be about that time.
And they say
God.
history repeats itself. Let's see.
Dang. I pray it do.
I
Yeah.
just
All
hope
right.
it's not a losing history.
Yes. All right. Well, tonight, that's a wrap for Fourth and Family. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We appreciate our hosts, and we appreciate you all. And so we're going to sign off tonight. Fourth and Family. Good night, everybody.
Peace.